streaming my alright course 9. I really lost the count of which course we are right now, but yeah, we're on course 9. I did double check that. Cybersecurity. All right, this class is security. Oh, security. There you go. Sorry. Um, this class is actually kind of special. Because this is the I used to call it the wake up call class. Like I'm going to learn you stuff that, well, just the main principle of education is to learn stuff that we don't know, but this is everyday kind of stuff that you actually probably not know. And this is, from my personal point of view, I think this is the most important class, because yeah, we'll get into the reasons why I think this is the most important class. Um, because we're going to discuss about issues and concern that add a real impact on our everyday living, on our everyday lives. And these are issues that we might not really fully take consciousness of at the first time, because we're used to have instant access to everything. I mean, information, music, videos, movies, whatever. Everything is now instantly, and we request stuff, and even when we're shopping on Amazon, we're receiving the item that we bought within 2 or 3 days. Maybe it's a bit longer in Abitibi, but here in Trois-Rivières it's more like 2 or 3 days. Three days. Sorry. So let me gallery view. Not full screen. Sorry. There you go. Okay, so yeah, so today's class is cybersecurity. It's more like an introduction to cybersecurity. This is a topic that I'm really interested in. This is something I also, well, I can say that I fully understand, like putting it in quotes, because we never fully understand stuff until we do realize that there is other things that we do not know. But anyways, um, is now your internet connection better, Donna? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. All right. So, yeah, so we're going to talk about cybersecurity, and more precisely about, well, some key concepts first, as I usually do. We're going to talk about privacy or private life, mass data, and sorry, or mass surveillance and big data. We're going also to introduce some Canadian law that uh, ensure our cybersecurity. I put in quote because well, you'll see there's not much about it. So and about digital privacy, and also we're going to talk about personal data and democracy, because all the data industry uh, has a real impact on our democracy, on our society today, and it has a really concrete and explicit impact that we have as a society discuss about, that we must talk about those stuff because because it's kind of concerning. Yeah, I don't want to be alarming or in my discourse. I don't want to be that kind of conspiracy theorist, or talking about big brothers and stuff like that, um but I don't feel that. I feel that I don't really have the choice to aboard that uh, to talk about that topic without being myself concerned. Um, Knowing about a lot of this stuff that I'm going to talk to you about today, knowing about most of this stuff, I've actually had actually an impact of my personal um, usage of the technology. Okay, and yeah, it has this effect of make me think about society, and how are we going to deal with technology, and all of these issues that I'm going to discuss about. So the first question I want to ask to you is, what you know about cybersecurity, because this is a vague concept. It can concern a lot of stuff, a lot of things, but what you know about, if I'm saying to you the word cybersecurity, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Password? Yeah. Okay. So you can be in internet and out of internet, right? Okay. Talking about passwords. Yeah. Um. Yeah. It all the information. What you mean by it? You talking about that clown, that Pennywise? If you've ever seen that movie, no? Yeah. All right. So yeah, what you meant by it holds our yeah. So soft. Uh huh. Yeah. So it holds our information. Um, do you know where those information are stored, and what what companies do with our informations? Okay. All right. All right. Okay. It's cyber not so security. Yeah. Yeah. And you're totally right about it. Yeah. And you all are totally right about it. Yeah. So we don't know where it's stored. We don't know how it's used. Yeah. In someone else's PC. Yeah. You mean I mean the Big Bang image is kind of sorry, I didn't catch what you said. It's possible that, I think that was the first word of your sentence. So yeah, Don just gave us this idea of a big bank holding, you know, all people's money, and do you know what bank are doing with the money that we deposit in our bank account? And because the banking system is a kind of a good image in order to understand or really understand what companies are doing with our personal information, with all these did make it rain, is what you said. I'm really have I think I'm not the only one that's not able to okay. Yeah. So I'm trying to catch some pieces of what you're saying, because your internet connection is not allowing us to fully understand. Yeah, but yeah, you talked about smartphones. You talked about, yeah, of course, personal information. Not about that. Not so cyber. Not so security. Yeah. So and yeah, this is the main thing that we know about cybersecurity so far. And even though you do understand those, or kind of knowing what's happening out there with your personal data, what's your usage of internet? I mean, talking about social media, I'm talking about Google, I'm talking about YouTube. Does it have an influence? That does the fact knowing that the internet is not so secure place, does that have an effect on your consumption of all internet stuff and apps and software? And no, not at all. Yes. Okay. You, and I'm between yours two generations, so I'm in the yes and no kind of answer. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's yeah. Well, uh, yeah. Mhm. And I will try to explain why we should, why there's no secure places on the internet, whether it's governmental or private website or government website. The internet kind of. Yeah. Uh-huh. And I mean, yeah, hackers. Yeah. Yeah, I can get your information at any time. If is that what you're asking? Because yeah, this is so creepy. I know. This is so creepy. And you would not allow someone to put a camera in your house, but I'm probably sure that you don't put any blanket or anything in front of your camera when you're not using it, right? Or you sleep with leaving your laptop straight open with your front camera. Yeah, and even though it's not working, even though you did not activate it, it can be remotely activated by someone else. And if you do not, Yeah, this is the right thing to do. It's to actually hide the camera, so physically hide the camera, so this way anyone no one can see it. Yep. Yeah, but I do not have a camera on my TV, so this not yet. I haven't planned to have one. But anyways, yeah. Uh, it, uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. We gives, we take for granted those information, and we I mean, we do not care about what use company is going to make with our in, information, and we're not even if I'm meeting you in the street and asking you how much you make in a year. Well, obviously you won't answer that question because you don't know me. And if I ask you, what's your name, what's your full name, what's your email address, what's your phone number, where you live, these are all information you wouldn't give to someone that is physically asking you those questions. And but you still put you're still giving those information, and by you I'm including myself in that, because I'm like I told to the last group I thought about cybersecurity, and I told them that I'm not quite sure if I can translate that in English and keep that the sense of what I'm trying to say. But I said that I'm not, brighter than a diamond. It's kind of weird saying that in English though, but I mean, even though I'm talking about cybersecurity and I'm aware about those issues and I'm aware about all these concerns, um, I'm still, I'm kind of dumb person. I'm human being, and I'm as lazy as anyone, anyone else that don't want to enter their password every time he wants to log in to somewhere. So I give my password to Google Chrome, and he automatically fill up every information when websites are asking about those information. And and I know it's bad. I know this is this is a bad habit to have, but still I'm not getting rid of that habit because I do not know all of my password. I didn't memorize all of them. Google memorized all of my passwords. Uh, so I I have the choice right now to either memorize all of my password and deactivate the autofill option, or simply keep it that way and make my life simpler, as I would say. But yeah, because we do not have we, there's no real impact on our, there's no direct impact on our lives. Well, we think that there's no direct impact on our life, but there is actually. Have you ever have that feeling that after scrolling your Facebook feed or whatever, have you ever had that feeling that someone was listening to your conversation by yeah. Yeah, algorithm, advertising. Yeah. Or what you're looking at on Google or on YouTube, what keyword you're using, what with who you're interacting with. Um, So there's, we're going to discuss about that, and this is what we call algorithm. And algorithm are like some mathematical kind of formula that that are used by cyber program in order to look at specific information, in a series of coding and all that programming stuff that we don't understand, but it go look on everything that's on the internet. I mean, everything, and this is your Facebook feed, your mailboxes, your message boxes, your YouTube video account, your anything that can be collected by those algorithms are actually collected, and we're going to discuss about how they are collected and why they are collected, and what's the impact of not taking care of those information, because they belong to you. I mean, your age, where you live, your birth date, your blood type, your eye color, your everything. And technology is going so fast that we do not have time to do research on that technologies, and really understand what is the impact of those technology in our everyday lives. So yeah, if I ask the question, what you know about security, the question might be, we know a lot, but we're not quite sure about what we know is true or not. And we know things, but we do not know how it works and how it has an impact on our life. Am I right if I'm interpreting your message in that way? Yeah. Right. Yeah, that was a long question. Sorry. I mean, when I ask you the question, what you know about cybersecurity, the answer might be we know stuff, but we don't quite sure if those stuff we know are exact, and we do not know what's are the consequences uh, about yeah about the stuff we know on cybersecurity. So I think I'm right about thinking this. So this is around that kind of question I built this class, because there's so many stuff I can actually talked about. I can talk about cybersecurity for 45 hours long, for 55-hour course long. But obviously I won't. It's not my case. So sorry. Yeah. What we know about cybersecurity. Um, and also why this question is so important. I also want to ask you that question, because this class is for teachers training. Yeah. And this cybersecurity topic is more general concern. It's There's nothing specific to teaching that I'm going to tell you about this morning. So why am I introducing you to the cybersecurity topic this morning? Why this question is so important? Yeah. Yeah. Do do parents are? Okay. Okay. Is it parents' fault, or it is parents' fault? No. I'm here, Stacy. No, it's not. And I'm totally agreeing with part. Yeah. I have I have this picture that I put at the end of this PowerPoint presentation, and it shows like Western. I don't know why it's called when you pointing gun at each other in Western movies. Hold ups? No, hold up. No. Well, anyways, so there's three people that are pointing at each other, and I quoted identified, sorry, each of those people as government, users, and businesses, and I'm asking the question, whose responsibility for cybersecurity? So I don't want an answer right away about that. We'll discuss later on. But yeah, why this question is so important? Because yeah, it is our job that to warn children, warn kids about their uses of the technology. Yeah, of course. And why this is so important as a teacher? This is much harder question, right? I mean, there's nothing in the curriculum that tells you have to teach students about cybersecurity. Well, there's something in the digital competency framework in the second. Uh, yeah. Uh huh. Maybe because maybe because there this is something that is you know unknown by most of citizens. So this is, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, or maybe we just say that yeah, danger, it cannot have an effect on my personal life and my own life myself, and why should I be caring about it? Maybe because we this is something that we can see society becomes more and more individualistic. I think this is the right word to say it. It's more and more about us, ourself, me, I, and we tend to take decision more and more regarding to what impact it has on myself, either of what impact it has on society in general. I'm not talking of everyone, but this is general trend that we can observe. So yeah, and why teachers should introduce it to kids, like we talked about, because it's actually our job is to teach. So if there's something important that is unknown by most of the people, yeah, this is our job to teach them. Even though it's not explicitly saying, mentioning it in those school programs or school curriculum. Um, so yeah, and how to be prepared for teaching cybersecurity. This is another interesting question I was asking to myself, and this is all questions that I do not have answer to. Okay, so I'm asking you a question, and there's might not be answered for each question I'm asking though. But yeah, this is more a question to make you realize. I used to call them rhetorical questions, maybe. So, how to be prepared for teaching cybersecurity? How you can be prepared for eventually teaching about cybersecurity? I'm not waiting for an answer. Don't worry. I I just love that kind of silence. Yeah. So yeah. And right now, do you feel that you know enough about cybersecurity? No. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot to say about cybersecurity, and there's I can be talking about that for 45 hours long class, but I really wanted to ask you the what you want to know specifically about cybersecurity. I might not have included it in my PowerPoint presentation, but if there's specific question that I can answer about that, this is your time to ask them. Yeah, if you do have, of course. I'm pretty sure you have. There's no way you do not have a question that you want me to answer about cybersecurity. So many questions. All right. So I'll be giving some information if you do have a question at the end. All right. Or even though during the presentation, but let's first talk about let's first define some key concepts first, and we must talk about personal data. What is personal? What is considered as a personal data? As yeah. Yeah, I'm asking yeah. Yeah, everything that can be, yeah, you're totally right. So it's from the government of Canada. It's defines the personal data as a personal information, includes any factual or subjective information recorded or not about an identifiable individual. So yeah, we're right about saying your age, your address. For example, if I take the information I have on you, the personal information I have on you, it's I do have your code permanent. I'm not quite sure how to say it. Permanent code, yeah. I do have the city in which you live. I do have some information. Your email address is also considered as personal information, even though your email address is I don't know, gaming horse 316 at gmail.com, even though it's it's I don't yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I never have seen this kind of email address before. But anyway, even though there's nothing inside that email address that can identify you, this is considered as personal information. Your intern. Oh, sorry. Hear some feedback. Yeah. So even your IP address. Your we're going to talk about that because it's something that I think the most important about cybersecurity is your IP address, your Internet Protocol address, which stands for IP. This is the sets of numbers in order to identify a PC, 192.68.0. Whatever. So yeah, personal data is personal information, includes any factual or subjective information. What is the factual and the subjective information? What's the difference between those two kinds of information? Because there there's thing that can be considered as personal data that we might never thought it would be considered as personal data before. So yeah, be sure to enable your microphone before speaking, because I deactivated it. Sorry. So what's the difference between a factual and a subjective information? So factual information are I talked about fact, and I talked about interpretation in the first class. Factual is something that can be verified, that can be either through true or false. Your age, your birth date, your geolocalization, your position, your physical position, your IP address, your email address, your phone number, your blood type, your eye color, your whatever. All of those information are factual information, and subjective information are information that are contextual, I should say. I'm giving you an example, and this is this will make give you a clear idea about that. What subjective information is. Opinion. Opinion are classified as personal information. Is that something that's surprising you? I'm taking that silence for yeah, sorry. Yes, so does that surprise you that opinion and things you say uh, yeah, are classified as personal data? Yeah. No, this is yes. I mean, subjective information. I gave the example of opinion. For example, I write a post on Facebook, and this is considered as a personal data. For example, I'm at a restaurant, and I won't ever do that because I'm, profoundly judging people that does this. But anyway, and I'm a restaurant, and I'm taking a picture of my meal and post it on Facebook. This is classified as a subjective information, and also this, as a matter of fact, this is a personal data. Yeah. Is that something that surprised you, or you're agreeing with, or like opinion is categorized, is classified as a personal data? So I gave few examples. For example, age, name, ID numbers, incomes, ethnic origin or blood type, opinions, evaluations, comments, social status, or disciplinary actions, an employee's file, credit records, loan records, medical records, address, email address, phone number, fingerprints, identifiable symbols, everything is on that list is personal data. How many uh, um, of those components have you ever given to the internet? Let's call it that way. A lot, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe the blood type. Um, Opinions. If you've ever had a public conversation with someone under a Facebook publication. Yeah, I get angry at those people, so I don't answer at all. But opinions, the likes. For example, liking a publication on Facebook, liking a status on Facebook. Either if you select the like button, sorry, like button, angry button, sad button, laugh button. At the moment, Facebook introduced those variation of that like button. Do you remember that, or it's something that you can relate to? Yeah. Okay. Um, this is not this is not to something that Facebook introduced in order to enhance uh, the user experience. All right, this has nothing to do with the product. This has something to do with personal data and collecting more precise data about people, about users. Um, if they introduce multiple variation of that like button, is because Facebook wanted to know if what's your reaction, what's your feeling about topic, about publication, about a comment, about. So when I was talking about algorithm, what it does is that a Facebook algorithm actually filter everything that's written, everything that's published, and everything that's every interaction that people have. So if I'm giving you an example that happened to me recently. I decided to follow the American media on Facebook because I want to follow the American election, 2016 American election, presidential election. So I did like the Facebook page of Fox News, MSNBC, CBC, and BBC as well. Even though I know it's British, but anyway. So I liked a lot of different media pages on Facebook, and I used to react only to publication. Sorry. So yeah, right. So yeah, I did react to some posts more than others. For example, I do not, and this is personal. This is editorial note. Um, I did not like what Fox News was posting at that that moment. At any moment, I don't know. I don't like Fox News from a general basis, but that's not the point. So I usually angry react to Fox News posts and some particular posts that I found shocking. I found myself to be shocking. Um, so yeah, I used to react more often on those Fox News posts, and Facebook decided to show me more of those posts because I used to interact more frequently with the Fox News. But I did not like what Fox News. It frustrated me at some point as I wanted to write comments and write answer to comment in the comment section, because I was so angry and keep and the Facebook feed keeps showing me some Fox News um, news, and I keep being angry about them, and I thought to myself, maybe maybe if I stopped interacting, if I stopped clicking that angry button every time I see a Fox News post, maybe it will stop. And I didn't see any of the MSNBC posts, any of the New York Times posts, any of the because did those posts were not generating some strong emotion. There was no anger. There was no fear. There was no sadness in those New York Times, MSNBC, whatever, and other media. So I did not interact with those because I was like, yeah, all right, those this seemed pretty obvious. This is yeah, I'm agreeing with that kind of post of the New York Times. So I did not react. I did not give Facebook information about how I'm feeling about those medias, but I used to more frequently react to Fox News post. So Facebook understand that and keep saying me more and more post, keep showing me more and more post about Fox News, and more precisely post that concerns topic that I use to react to. All right, I'm not quite sure if that example is relevant for you, but but yeah, this variation, this of that like button is was meant to have more precise information about how people feel about what they read on Facebook. And I'm talking about Facebook, but this is the main the most commonly used media, social media out there. But I can say the same thing with Google. I can say the same thing with YouTube, which is owned by Google, by the way. I can say the same thing with Twitter, you know. And these companies keep collecting those informations in order to have a better understanding of who we are as person, as a social animals, you know. So as J.J. Rousseau said, I love to call him J.J. Rousseau. So yeah, as he said, we are social animals, and Facebook used to collect more and more information about us in order to have a better profile, better view, better look about who we are as a person when we're interacting, when we see something. What do we feel? If I say to you that Facebook know exactly how you feel when you see something in particular, that would be creepy AF. But this is something that is, yeah, this this is not this is nothing. This has nothing to do with conspiracy theory and you know, all those funky thing that people love to say about. But this is real thing that happening right now at that moment. I don't know if you heard of it, but Zoom recently have been caught of rec- sorry, Stacy. Yeah, they got hacked into, but yeah, they were caught recording conferences, even though users didn't ask them to record conference. So yeah, they got hacked, and hackers got access to all of those videos. Um, so yeah, everything on that list is considered as personal data, and technology keep evolving in order to collect more precise information, because this is a lucrative business, you know. We're going to discuss about that, but digital information worth more than oil at the moment. So yeah, algorithm, you know, I talked briefly about it, but these are mathematical instruction or rules that, especially if given to a computer, will help to calculate an answer to a problem. The answer to a problem being looking up for information. For example, we have an algorithm for name collecting, for birthday collecting, for email addresses collecting. There is algorithm for Google search engine in order to give you the right information about what you're looking up on the internet. I won't go into too technical stuff about algorithm, but I want to make sure that you have clear idea about what it is. This is something that we cannot see. This is something that's happening in real time by a computer. There's no human behind a computer that is rapidly typing on his keyboard like we see in movies. There's nothing such as this. When we're talking about algorithm, it's all driven by what we call artificial intelligence, a branch of computer science dealing with the simulation of intelligent behavior in computers and the capability of a machine to imitate intelligent human behavior. And this actually artificial intelligence are made of multiple algorithms in order to work by itself. Okay, there's no human behind computer and pressing keys. Everything is done by itself. Every information is collected, automatically collected, and yeah. Yeah. Yeah, personal data. But now big data. I think it was Donna that asked me the question about what was big data. So we're getting to this. Yeah, a while back. A month ago maybe. Yeah. So but first let me explain what's a data. So it's information, especially facts or numbers, collected to be examined and considered and used to help decision making, or information in an electronic form that can be stored and used by a computer. So everything that you said at the beginning of this class, like I know we know that it's stored somewhere in someone's PC, but someone's computer, but we don't know where, we don't know how. But yeah, everything is collected and stored inside of physically in a physical place, in a physical computer, but not a computer of the size of a laptop, a building sized computer. There's entire building dedicated to databases. I'm not sure of how much information are collected per second, but I think it's 100 terabyte or something like that. This is, insane how many information are stored. Just imagine how many web pages that exist on the internet, that there is a database for every single company on the internet, every single website. There is a database that's collecting information that user, when interacting with those websites, gave. Consciously and not so consciously, we're going to discuss about that as well. So yeah, data is basically information, and how information are stored. They are stored sometimes in a grid, classic Excel grid, or sometimes these are numbers for more complex data. For example, voice processing. There's a database where where everything that you say, for example, to your phone, to right now, everything that I'm saying goes into Zoom's database. And what's Zoom's database do with all of those data? It's sending back to you, so you can actually see me and hear what I'm saying. But all of these information are stored in order to be transmitted to Donna, Alexandra, or Stacy. This has to be somewhere. And for how long is it stored? It doesn't disappear when we click on the end the meeting. button. It's actually stored, and for how long? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, and yeah, this is something that's concerning as well. So it's collected and examined, yeah, and considered and used to help decision making. Um, so yeah, this is data, but what is big data? Is it we have that idea of well, I have the idea of data. I mean, a sheet of paper where information are written. A big data would be a bigger sheet where you have more information, and that wouldn't be 100% false. But there's some specific component in order uh, to classify data as big data. So big data is a big quantity of data, obviously, and you can quote me about that. This is obvious. I'm not quite sure if it's the right word, untreatable, but this the data is so big that they are not. This is impossible for a human being to understand everything what those data means. So I don't know if untreatable is the right way, or does it mean that another it has another meaning, or anyway. So yeah, but not only a big quantity, but also multiple format. So I talked about text, images, video, sound. How can computers understand and link all of those multiple format of information? Uh, how they can link them in order to give a better picture of people. So yeah, big data are used to develop a digital profile of people, for commercial purpose and other purposes. So yeah, I ask you, if you ever had the feeling that someone was listening to your conversation. I was saying it ironically, but this is not that ironic, because companies actually are actually listening to what we are saying. Um, and I'm going also to talk to you about when everything started, because there's some turning point in our history, where we can identify a moment and say that, oh, this actually cause, or is actually one cause of all that mass surveillance of digital data and yeah, digital sphere. So for commercial purpose, for example, I look for a computer. So I type in computers on Google, and depend on the frequency and the word that I use, the images that I'm looking for, the pictures that I'm taking with my cell phone, the conversation that I have with people online will actually have an impact on what kind of advertising I'm going to receive when I'm on internet. And this is not only for myself, because you might probably know that my computer is connected to a Wi-Fi router, and my cell phone is also connected to a Wi-Fi router. My girlfriend's computers is as well connected to that same router. So it have all the information about what's happening in the house. So it can target specific needs in order to be more effective for their advertising campaign. and some other purposes. We're going to discuss about election. Democracy. It has an impact on democracy, and recently had an impact. Recently impacted election from our lovely, I would say, ironically, lovely neighbor, which is the United States of America. And we do have proof of a political party using people's personal data in order to influence their vote. We do have proof that have happened. But yeah, because the law are not clear about how we can use those data, and this is like a big gray area where it reminds me of the early 19th century Western, American Western, where everyone's making their own law, and yeah, it was free for all. But yeah, this is a real mess. I'm going to tell you about. This is a real mess. So yeah, basically big data, and we're going to discuss about what they are more precisely in few slides. But yeah, big data are big quantity, I would say that, and a big variety of data. And the main thing that we have to memorize about big data is that they are big enough and they are too complex for human brain to understand them. There's only computers that can understand big data. Okay. Yeah, yeah, and this is the part where it begins to get scary, of course, because we do not have control of. Well, we do have control. Sorry, but we do not have the capacity to do the exact same job as a computer would do. For example, when they were collecting information, they were before internet. Government used to hire people to knock on people's door and ask them about how many people live here, some information to get to be able to draw a statistical portrait of Canada, for example. But now everything is done with private company. The informations that we used to give to people in real life, now we're giving them to private company, and there's nothing that can ensure that the usage of those data but by those companies is done ethically, is done within an ethical concern. So yeah, big data is something that is not understandable by human brain, which is of course indeed scary. And you might also have heard about cookies, and I'm not talking about that tasty kind of meal that we love to buy, we love to eat any time of the day, that mom used to hide on the top shelf. We're not talking about those cookies. Have you ever went on a website that was asking you if you agree with the cookies? Yeah. So yeah, we do click on accept because we don't really, it doesn't matter. It doesn't cost us money, or it doesn't harm us directly. But we do click on accept and But what cookies are is basically they are files that are stored in well, first your computer, and that may be also stored in websites database. So cookies are, well, first they are files that are stored in your computer and in the website's database. So this is the first thing that you want to know about cookies. Cookies are used to store and collect information about individuals and their preferences in order to enhance their online experience. For example, every time I searching for something on Google, Google's not asking me my language preference every time that I'm opening Google Chrome and I'm doing a research. It will automatically consider that I'm looking for information in French. This is, this is how cookies work. They first collect information, and not only on your behavior on that website, but they are also collecting information inside your computer. Algorithm of those cookies are going to look on your computer and try to identify some information that can be helpful for them in order to enhance your experience on that website. For example, I gave the Google search example, which is, I think, clear enough to understand what cookies are. And the image I have of a cookie is, everyone have that cookie. Let me. Oh, cookies. If I type cookie on Google image, you do have that image of, soft cookie with chocolate chips. But if we want to visually represent what cookie is on the internet, is the same image as regular cookie that we used to eat. So it's basically a file, like a Microsoft Word file, text file, and each chocolate chip that are inside a cookie actually represent what kind of information that you are giving to the website. And at the end, with all your information, you can produce a recipe, which you have, one chocolate chip, one dark chocolate chip, one white chocolate chip, one Smarties, one whatever you want to add in your cookie. And each ingredient you're adding into that cookie recipe is actually comes from your own preferences. And so they can take that cookie recipe. Websites can take that cookie recipe and share them with their commercial partners. For example, Facebook is changing, is trading cookies about individuals with Facebook and with YouTube and with Ricardo website and whatever. So if you want to have a better image of what cookie is, think about a regular cookie where every chocolate chips represent specific information about yourself, about your computer and stuff like that. So it's because of cookies. If websites are shown in the same language as your own PC or your web browser. So I give you an example of that. They are not viruses. They are not harmful for your computer. They cannot do some physical damage, but they contain a lot of information about yourself, and if they are in the wrong hand, And because they are stored on your PC, your PC security is actually, you know, weaker than Facebook digital security. So yeah, it's concerning because hackers can go into your PC, download all the cookies, and and have all of that information without even knowing it. Um, Also, you know, I don't want to go into that viruses, malware, and spyware stuff, but if you do have questions about them, you can ask me. But I will go quickly about that. Malware, which means badware for software, is basically software used to harm or infiltrate a personal computer or a smartphone. So when we're talking about viruses, this is not the right word that we should use. We should talk about malware, because viruses, malware is that big family. I used to compare uh, all these malware, viruses, stuff, everything with disease. So malware being the same meaning as a disease, and in disease you have viruses, you have worms, you have infections, you have, you know, different kind of disease. Yeah, so basically the most commonly malwares are Trojan horses, viruses, spyware, etc., worm, etc., etc., and they all considered as malware. Why do people why do people create those malware? This is a good question, and if anyone asking that question, I'll be able to answer it. Um, so viruses, basically, these are programs that can modify or delete files. These are the most harmful program that you can get, and these comes from the executable files. You know, all those .exe, or if you do have a Macintosh, we're talking about .dmg. But all those exe files can contain viruses, and they can be transmitted uh, by sharing infected executable files. For example, you have downloaded Zoom I'm not sure it's called exactly that way, but you've installed the Zoom installer .exe on your computer in order to, you know, download the Zoom software. So it's really important to know where the exe files you download comes from. So yeah, this way you can ensure you not having a virus on your computer. Spyware, the same principle as malware. This is program that's most of the time is asymptomatic and used to spy on someone else's PC, and this is the most the artist's malware to get rid of, because you can't see the actual damage that they are doing. I might have some spyware on my computers and not even knowing that, even though I have a really good antivirus. Maybe he himself doesn't not even see those viruses. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. Cryptid. Cryptid is, yeah. Yeah, it's, yeah. And some I don't know how to how it is called in English, but it's like holding up your information in exchange of a certain amount of money, or stuff like that. And it's when something is encrypted, is like translating into like translating a file into a language that your own computer does not understand, and that you need another program in order to translate the file, so your computer can read it again. But file, File. Uh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, file. Yeah, yeah. Crypted, encrypted, maybe. No, there's no way to fix that, because it's like if I have a key, in order to open, for example, your computer. Um, and without knowing that, I installed, you maybe downloaded something that installed a program of viruses that actually locked your files. So you cannot open it, because yeah, and this will only be resolved by cleaning up your computer. Yeah, and yeah, and some program used to install what we call a backdoor. When you go in some place, and you leave the door behind your slightly open, so you can have a quick exit. So yeah, some program installed backdoors on your computers. So and those backdoors are uh, vulnerability vulnerability. I'm not quite sure if I'm saying it right, but vulnerability, uh, vulnerability. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, that word. So yeah, it actually opens a door, or open a window, and this is something that we cannot see, and it's even deep enough, so a complete clean cannot get rid of those backdoors. And later on, someone that installed it, that backdoor, can go inside that door and unlock your computer without even knowing it, and again install that program that encrypt your data, so you cannot. So basically, it's a key that someone installed. So someone installed a lock on your computer, and he has that person who installed it as the only copy of that key that opens those your computers, or your files. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, don't worry about that, because because those information, someone else already have those information, even though yeah, for example, that Desjardins leak, or a vast antivirus leak, information leak. There's so many information that have been leaked in the past years, you know that you shouldn't be worried about having your information stolen, because mine are already stole by and this was caused by Desjardins leak of information. Yeah, so basically, spyware is yeah, most of the time asymptomatic program used to spy on someone's PC, someone's computer. Yeah. For example, a spyware can give the authorization to someone to have access to your webcam, etc., etc. So Trojan horses are, I love that how they named it. The same use as in the Trojan War story, that big horses that was supposed to be a gift, but there was soldiers inside that once the Trojan horse got into the city, unlocked the door so the army can have access to invade the city. So basically, Trojan horse is exactly what it does. So it goes into your PC, trying to find a way to unlock some security settings in order to let in other programs that are much more harmful. And finally, worms. They are indefinitely multiply itself and slows down your PC. So the only thing that worms do is just duplicate themselves. And they use a certain amount of your PC's memory in order to function, to work. And the more worm, the more quantity you have, the slower your computer will be. So these are, basically, if you want to talk about what program can have a negative effect on my computer, these are the main program that we talked about. There's a lot of them, and there's no really vaccine. There's no antidote. There's no way that you can keep your PC safe from those malwares, but to install antivirus program. And there's a multiple of them. I'm not going to talk about all of the antiviruses that exist on the internet. But the only thing that I want to ask you for question is, are antiviruses are 100% effective? Well, the obvious answer is no. They're not 100% effective, and this is why you have to keep your computer up to date. These multiple updates that Windows or Apple ask you to make. There is a reason why your computer is updating, and one of the reasons is to protect yourself from the new threats that are circulating, that are on the internet. So antiviruses, I used to use an antivirus that was free, which maybe you have heard of it. It's called Avast, or Avast, AVAST, Avast. So it was a free antivirus, and it was funny because I think it was 2 or 3 months ago, I read a paper about Avast leaks of all of the personal information of their users. So basically, what kind of information do antivirus have when it's installed on a computer? A lot, because it's used to protect yourself. It's like if the Gendarmerie Royale du Canada, Canadian police, let's call it that way. Yeah, it's like if the Canadian police, every information that had the Canadian police on people and citizen was leaked to hackers. So there's a lot of information, and there's a lot about security your own PC security information. And yeah, I read an article about that, and another article came out. I think it was a week after that first one, that was saying that those free antiviruses actually were selling users in personal information in order to have a revenue, because these are private company and they need to have a revenue in order to live, in order to so yeah, antiviruses software that was collecting information and that were used to protect my computer was actually selling my personal data to other company. And how those data were used, actually we don't know. But this is something that happens. So if you ask me, and if anyone asks me the question, should I pay for antiviruses? The answer is 100% yes. 100% yes. There's no way that I'm going to let a software in my computer that making his money out of that data industry, collecting those data and sell them, because this is not this is not safe for me, letting people that I don't know having access to my PC personal computer information. So free or paid one, obviously a paid one. If you do not have an antivirus, please buy one. This is because I'm guessing that you do all your transaction with your computer or with your cell phone, which is actually even worse. But I'm pretty sure you're doing all your information and your bank transaction, and you're paying your bills with with online services. And if you do not have an antivirus, a paid one, well, you might probably have some spywares or other malware that is collecting those information without even knowing it. So first thing first, antiviruses, yeah, you should really pay for that. Yeah, was that shocking? Sorry, I didn't, I took that for granted, because these are things that I know, but some people are sometimes not ready to really see what is happening. I was about to say what the H is happening, but what's happening out there with free stuff. So yeah. And the other thing, the last thing that I want, no, not the last thing, but I want also to introduce you to a virtual private network. You probably heard of VPN. There's more and more advertising on TV about VPN. I'm not going into those technical stuff, but what is actually a virtual private network is like a little bunker that is built around your computer, and that is protecting you from any attack that you can have, or any intrusion inside your computer and inside your network. Because yeah, your router is collecting information, if you did not know that. And we do not have antivirus for our router. We plug in internet and use it. This is the only thing we do with a router. But yeah, virtual private networks actually used. It actually creates or generate a virtual bunker around your computer when connected at network and underground tunnels. It actually digged underground virtual tunnels when you're sharing information. For example, I'm sending mails to the class. If I'm not using a VPN, someone can actually go inside my router, and by that, going inside my computer and read all the emails that I'm sending to you. But using a virtual private network, actually what it does is that it creates this some sort of yeah, I think the bunker image is the most relevant one around that router, that you know protect us from someone trying to get access to our computer. But at home, people, if they want to get access to your router and your computer, they have to be in a certain range, which is defined by the strength of your network. They cannot go into your router if someone is for example in the United States or in Montreal. They cannot go into my computer by accessing priorly to my router. But a virtual private network is essential, and it's crucial to have one when you're doing stuff, when you're connected to a public network. The free internet access that companies give you when you go to McDonald's or when you go to Tim Hortons. You have access to free internet, and how kind they are to give us access to free internet. Yeah, I use the word free, but no, that this is not free. And why they are giving us internet access is basically because they want to have even more information about how we interact with the virtual world, so they can target. They can create a better advertisement campaign and better yeah. So when sharing or sending information to another PC. So how does this work? Why use a VPN? I just talked about that. And basically, finally, IP addresses are a set of numbers used to virtually locate your PC, smartphone, Wi-Fi router, smart TV, smart fridge, everything that's connected to the internet, or everything that is digitally that's working with digits. That's considered as digital technology, has an IP address. And what the virtual private network what it does actually is it generate a different IP address. So if my personal computer IP address says that I'm physically in Trois-Rivières, using a virtual private network will actually change or generate random numbers. So if someone's trying to get that IP address, it will actually get a randomized, randomly generated IP address, and wouldn't be able to know where I live. So these are general key concepts that I wanted to talk about. So and I will introduce you to privacy. So if you have nothing to and I really hate that quote. If you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to fear about invasion of your privacy. What's your first thought about that quote? And this is why I put a question mark under that quote. What does that mean? Are you agreeing with that? With the fact that if you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't have nothing to fear about cybersecurity, about all of these sharing your personal information? Or What you think about that sentence? Be sure to reactivate your microphone before speaking. Yeah, what you think about that quote? Okay. Okay. So what's the point of, for example, um, um, having, I'm looking for a basic word, the rideau, um, curtains. Thank you. So what's the point of having curtains in your in front of your window if you have nothing to hide? Yeah, exactly. And this is why, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And about privacy, and this is why this question is so complex, is that this is the main, this is the normal, I would say, normal thinking about people when we talk them about privacy, is that, well, I do have nothing to hide. I'm not a criminal. I did nothing wrong. I don't care about companies listening to my conversation when I'm talking uh, to, for example, my friends or my mom. I don't fear government knowing what I do and where I do and when I do it. I don't care about privacy because I do not have nothing to hide. And this is the natural way of thinking, I would say. Um, but saying that if you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to fear, it's the same thing to say if you have nothing to say, then then was yeah yeah, nothing nice or nothing at all. If you don't have an opinion, then you shouldn't be able to speak your mind. Um, and this is something that is fundamental in democracy, is actually that, yeah, we do all have our secrets, but for example, opinions about politic party, about ideology, or about a certain topic, and some people have let's say, for example, journalists. Okay, so journalists have stuff to hide, of course, because they are here to reveal to people things that might not be accessible without their work. So, what if government or private company have access to every male journalist? Oops, sorry. Every male journalist are sending, every conversation they have, every so you know it. Of course, I do not have nothing to hide. It's myself, but as a society, we do have to hide things. And I was talking about journalists, and I can also quote some some social group that are marginalized in some community. For example, the uh, LGBTQ plus community in Russia, for example, that they are not allowed to speak up their mind. They're not allowed to say things in that kind of regime, in that kind of country. And well, they actually have something to hide. Should they have to hide it? That's another question. But in some countries, you're not as free as you think to say everything you want to say. And I'm talking about China and Russia, but I can also quote the United States, which pretend to be the this is so funny, which pretends to be the most free country in the world, which is absolutely absurd, as we noticed in those recent events that happened in Minnesota. But yeah, so basically some people would say that if you don't have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear about invading your privacy. But there's something that you didn't know that you had to hide, or you didn't know that is considered to be useful for someone else, that someone else can use for their own purpose. So but then we first have to talk about what is privacy, because we talked about personal information, personal data, but what privacy means, and what digital privacy means in today's society, because we're giving away so many informations that we shouldn't even give to those companies. So we have to reflect on that question about what's considered as a private from the private sphere, or public. What's private and what's public. So not going into that too much. Yeah, sort of. What's digital privacy? While some real life actions to protect your privacy comes naturally, the digital privacy might not share the same level of consciousness that I wrote, because we're giving away so many information. For example, Google know exactly where you are and where you are, with who you are, when you are at place you were, what you about, everything. They just know everything. For example, I went to in New York City last year, and I bought tickets for a baseball game, for the New York Yankees baseball game. So I took my phone, type on Google Yankees tickets. So I bought tickets for my brother and I. So we went to the game, and when I come at the hotel after the game, the day after, Google was sending me a real-time notification about the New York Yankees news, which I didn't even ask for, because I don't really care about the New York Yankees. I just wanted to see a baseball game. So I was kind of shocked, because I didn't give Google the permission to collect that kind of, well, I did give the authorization for Google the authorization to collect those data, but I give that authorization the first day I have my phone. I didn't give the authorization when I was buying those tickets, and Google didn't ask me if I was, conscious about the fact that I will give those information to Google. So basically what it does, it actually it sended me a notification, and I think it stopped 1 year after that moment where I bought Yankee Stadium tickets, Yankees baseball game tickets. 1 year after that, they stopped sending me notification there, and there was no way to deactivate them. Well, actually, I didn't found any way to deactivate them. So it's, yeah. And while the real life concept of privacy mostly concerned the who question, the who we are question, digital privacy is more about, both the who we are question and what we do and what we say question. And by what I mean that all the online searches, the website you visit, the items you buy online, the things you say to Alexa, and all of these information are collected and put together in order to create, let's say that, in order to create a digital profile of you, a digital portrait of who you are. So what's your reaction to those XYZ kind of things? What's your favorite meal? What's your favorite music you listen to? What's your favorite news channel? What's your favorite sports team? What's your, everything that you look on Google and you interact, you're giving, real-time information that are collected and linked to a profile that's, in which you can find the your name, your address, your phone number, your email address, your IP address, your, all of those stuff. So yeah, and there is companies that are specialized in, linking those information, those data, so those personal data. Yeah. But most importantly, why talking about privacy? Why does that matters? Well, hiding information about yourself isn't, well, a bad thing. But thinking that they're not important is a bad habit that we must put an end to, as soon as possible. Sometimes concerns, are not only about individuals' privacy, but about collective consideration of concept of privacy. There's, it kind of sound like it's the opposite, collective and private. We also think of those two concepts as opposite. But when it comes to the digital sphere, the individual privacy actually have an impact on collectivity and social consideration. For example, democracy, as we will discuss really soon. Everything, information you give to the internet companies is stored and sold or stolen in order to draw a bigger picture of you, of who you are in real life. So privacy is now less private. And I put a video that you can look. It's talking about the ethics of data and personal data and privacy. So you can click on that link, and I encourage you to go watch that video. Yeah. So yeah, privacy in our everyday use of technology and also in school, because every a lot of classrooms using iPads. Other classrooms are using Google Chrome laptop. Some other classroom are using softwares, free softwares, and those softwares and those technologies actually collecting informations about how kids interact with the internet. So when we discussed about issues of introducing technology in our school, this is one of the main concerns that even governments are not aware of. But I think they are aware of, but they're nothing they're not making much to answer that issue of privacy in schools. And this this has become a, you know, like a teacher concern, or a school administration concern, that they have the responsibility to put in place a certain structure in order to protect the personal data of children's personal data of students. So yeah, and privacy in students use of technology. If you do have students, sorry, if you do have children at home, you know exactly what I mean by oops, privacy in students' use of technology. Because if we are not aware of those issues, can we um, uh, tell the students to, to be aware of those of that concerns, of that cybersecurity concern. So yeah, and I put a list of a checklist of how to make sure that our digital privacy is preserved. For example, securing passwords is general a rule, and not not recording your password inside your computer. I used um, uh, to have with me a little book in which I write all of my passwords. So this way, it's physically impossible to have access to all of my password. Be aware of all privacy settings when installing software, when going to a website, and also your digital footprints. Everything you're saying on the internet, everything you put on the internet. Your own thoughts, the photos you're putting on Facebook, for example, videos that you're putting on YouTube, for example. Get reliable security software for your device. Save your data on an external device. So this way you won't lose everything if you are caught with some malware. Be careful with what you do with your smartphone, the application you're downloading as well. Keep your system up to date. Delete data and apps that you no longer use. Be aware of phishing. Those email that says blah 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 blah. Click on that link if you want to receive money or whatever. So phishing. Limit your interaction with social media content. This is my own advice, the most important one. Use VPN and stay away from public network, and especially if you visit website that requires the use of personal information, like checking your bank account. Please don't do that on either your cell phone or on a public network. So I want to go real fast on that privacy kind of thing, because I really want to discuss about mass data and big data, and what happens if we do not take care of our digital privacy. Yeah, but I feel like we should maybe take a quick break. Let's say 5 minutes break, and let be back at 11 and at 18 minutes. Yeah, that sound good. Yeah, cool, cool. All right. Unfortunately, no. Fortunately, no. Unfortunately, yes. No, it's not going to be 4 hours. No. What I can do is actually yeah, I will think about that and give you yeah. and come back with an answer. So, yeah. All right. All right. So if you do have questions, please take the time to ask me those questions. Um, yeah, yeah. Uh huh. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Uh huh. No worries. All right. All right. Well, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, for security concern, of course. Yeah. So yeah, when we talking about cybersecurity, well, we do not have a choice to talk about big data, because this is all what's about. All this information industry, all this digital information industry is built upon the fact that we can link all of these data with each others in order to create, like I said, this a better picture of who you are. So companies can know you better and better as the technology is evolving. Yeah, like we said, the concept of big data refers to a big amount of data, big enough to be not analyzable by human brain. Um, so yeah, but defining the concept of big data is way more complex than that. And there's a link. I put a link for a video on YouTube, and I really, really encourage you to go watch those videos um, whenever you want. But this is fundamental if you want to really understand what's going on. And I selected videos that are not too alarming and present the right way of presenting things about big data. So basically, big data, if we have to sum this up with you know uh, um, as simple as possible, when we're talking about big data, we're talking about 5 V that's characterizing big data. Well, first V is volume, vo- volume. Yeah. So for data to be considered as a big data, it has to be in a big quantity. Big enough to being analyzable by human brain. Um, the second V is for velocity. So the speed at which those data are collected. Algorithm are automatic programs that are used in order to filter the information on a database and extract them depending on some purposes. Um, so velocity, the speed at which those data are collected, we cannot replace um, the efficiency of those algorithm, even if we hire the entire Earth population for working, for example, for Facebook. If we had 7.5 billions of people working, collecting the information on Facebook, it will be less efficient than a single program that Facebook use. So yeah, velocity, the speed at which those data are collected. The variety, so structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. We're going to discuss about that. Don't worry. So it has to be in a lot in variety, different kind of data in order to be considered as a big data. The veracity also is important. So the accuracy of the information. For example, I'm using a false account on Facebook. The information for that false account are not, will not be used because these are not true informations. So they're not useful because the last V is the value of those information. So I put dollars sign because yes, it's worth a lot of money. Or from an efficiency point of view. For example, I want to improve the user experience on Google search. So I have to collect data that can be used in order to improve that search engine. But the principle behind big data is the interaction with the multiple variety of information in order to create a digital portrait. But let me real quick explain what I mean by structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data, because when we think about data, we only think about the information we type in. For example, like we discussed about names, address, this is all information that can be fitted into an Excel grid. Okay, we do have, for example, age, address, birth year, categories, and we do have names. So for each name, we can, classify every information in a grid boxes. So these are structured data. These are already put in a structure where it can be extracted by, a human can extract those data manually. So it can fit like in an Excel file. Semi-structured data is more like textual data that cannot be classified in grid boxes. For example, my opinion on the topic, the like button I'm clicking on posts, these are information that are textual but cannot be put in different grid. So these require a deeper analyze in order to give them sense, or in order to link them into a personal profile. And finally, unstructured data is everything that's non-textual data. For example, video, audio, photo, everything. So yeah, for example, I can link an audio record of myself from my home assistant Alexa, which I don't have, and I hope you do not as well. So the audio is recorded by my vocal assistant Alexa, is stored inside a database, Alexa's database, I would call it. This audio it contains particularities in that, pitch of my voice, the pace of my voice, the tone of my voice. Everything is, unique for every human being. So everything is digitalized, put into numbers, so digital program can understand and not human being. And that audio will be linked to a photo of me. So when Alexa's hearing that particular kind of voice, it will actually make a direct link with a photo that I've been identified as, a photo of myself on Facebook. That photo is going to be linked as well with semi-structured data of myself posting something on Facebook about, I don't know, what I love, what I hate, what I feel about stuff. And finally, these will be identifying information by human, because there will be structured data like my name, the place I live, my address, IP address, etc., etc., and in order to when reading my name, all of the other information are going to be associated with myself. This is really hard, I know this is really hard to understand how, and be able to recognize everything. I mean, not only person, but every object behind someone. Identify some personal trait of your own face, your eyebrow, your eye colors, your lip size, your nose size, your if you have freckles, if everything that can be used in order to 100% of the time. This is 100% accurate. That every time a picture of you appears, it can be actually directly linked to your name in those big database, and this is where it becomes a lot creepy. I included, yeah, this technology is shocking. So you can click on that link in order to watch that video of that shocking technology by Amazon, by the way. Um, yeah. How does it work? So, first of all, you users go on the internet, enter their information. When, for example, I go to Facebook, I put quotes on Facebook. My name's on Facebook, my photos is on Facebook. I do have videos myself where you can identify voice or images or stuff like that. So everything is stored on Facebook. So it's stored inside Facebook's database. So what Facebook is doing is, and I mean Facebook and other companies. I'm not, on Facebook is not the only company that does that. Certainly not. Sorry. So Facebook, what companies are doing is that, they took all of those data and sell it to another company that is specialized in analyzing those data, linking those data with each other. So yeah, for the example, we'll be talking about Cambridge Analytica, which was yeah, after that the scandal. So for example, Cambridge Analytica is a company that was specialized in linking those information and draw really accurate portrait in order to really know who you are. And when they create those portraits, this is their product that they created with the raw material, which is data, personal data. They create a portrait and they sell those portraits to companies, generally for advertising, to political parties as well, in order to identify the individuals that are, that are not decided for what party they're going to vote for. So political parties can target people in some key states or key province or key cities where those people can actually flip a vote, switch a vote from either one party or another. So it can be sold to those political party. It can be sold to hackers, activists, terrorists. There's no there's no limit to what those profile created by those big data companies can be used for. So let me do a quick example with example of big data. I will try to view large icon, extra large icon. Yeah, we cannot see much on YouTube, sorry about that, but I created folder in order to recreate what it can physically look like. So in a database you will have multiple folders. Those folders are identified by your IP address, by your personal IP address for your computer or your router. So, for example, 192.168.0.1 sorry, is a fictional network address. So if I click on that network address, I do have multiple other folders that are identified by other IP address of all the digital tools that I'm using under that router. For example, my smartphone is connected to the Wi-Fi router, so all of the information of my smartphone is also there. My vocal assistant, my laptop, my gaming console, my washing machine, my smart TV, whatever. So everything is stored, and within those particular software, particular folders, you do have 3 folders that we discussed about. So semi-structured data, structured data, and unstructured data. So for each device that are connected to a network, you do have those kind of folders. So what companies are doing is that, for example, if we're taking internet provider, Videotron, Bell, all of those companies, what they are doing is that since everything is connected to your router and they do have a full access to all the information that is stored inside your router, so they simply have to copy that folder in which you have all of your digital devices informations and sell them to some company. So that folder is some company database. So what we can see is that, for example, some company database, we do have my name, a folder with my name, and different other folder with those 3 different types of data, structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. And if I click, for example, structured data, I will have an Excel file in which we can see that, well, we cannot see because on Facebook the quality is not that good. So, but there are different category, for example, birth year, gender, email address, first name, last name, everything that is stored inside this kind of grid box. For the semi-structure, and I tried it. And this is relatively easy to have access to to everything that I posted on Facebook. So what I did is that I went into my my Facebook account. I pressed the F12 button, and it opened me like all the coding and digital stuff that ordinary people do not understand. Even I don't understand, but I did a simple Control F into that list of code, and I was able to extract some information. For example, as we can probably see here, is that you have my name, Samuel Rabouin, M, like, aime la vidéo de Fabrice Ville, entrevue à RDI avec Patrice Roy. So what was written inside that code part is that I liked the Fabrice Ville's video of an interview with Patrice Roy at CBC. And this is, relatively easy to have access to all of that information. And not only, and this is not only, like and share activity. This is, for example, a comment that I've posted under some friend status, and I was saying that uh, no human beings should be treated that way. I was commenting on a post, whatever, doesn't matter. But I was able to identify every single word I wrote under that post. And it goes even further, because when I look deeper under that quote, that code, I can extract some other information about myself. For example, assistant à la recherche. So this is my job. This is what I do for a living. It has that kind of information. Where? Université du Québec à Trois-Rivières. It also had where I previously worked. So it wasn't Canadian Tire. Where I went to school, where I went to, which university I went to, and so on and so on. And even more than that, I was able to extract. I'm trying to look for it. Oh, I didn't save it. Shoot. All right. So I was able to extract some conversation I had with a friend, which he was saying if I want to play golf with him this weekend. So I was able to extract that information, and this typical algorithm process that happens every day. Don't worry about that. There's no human that does this kind of work. This automatically doing everything by itself. But I was able to extract those information, my relationship status, the place I live, what are the things that I'm saying with my friend, so it can be extracted, and I can identify that the word golf is included in that conversation. So it can add a strategic point on my digital profile that says that I do like golf. So anyone that is buying my big data profile knows that I love golfing, knows that I am in a relationship, knows that and this is only for Facebook. I'm not talking about Snapchat. I'm not talking about Zoom. I'm not talking about YouTube, Google, etc., etc. And when combined all of these information together, it's like presenting a biography of people. It's the same way. It's the same process. So, and by that, the cherry on top of Sunday is that those information are linked with unstructured data, which, for example, images of myself doing things. So what the program would do with that picture, for example, of me, I was in Prague doing journalist kind of stuff. But anyway, so it can identify who are the people on that picture, what objects are present on that picture, and link the object with the context. Where am I? The percentage of people represented in that picture, the percentage of camera. So if, for example, the camera occupy 20% of the picture, it can reveal a lot of things for algorithms. So everything that you put online is actually used, sold to those big data company, and those big data company use program in order to link all of those information together, and literally create a biography for every single human beings. So yeah, I was trying not to be too alarmistic about it, um, but this is it naturally sounds like this. So th- this was a quick example of how big data is created, and what's the utility of what's the use of big data. Well, first of all, there's a good use and a not so good use. For the record, the for if I take as an example Google, with all the data that they have collected on American citizen, they were able to predict 2 weeks faster than the national health uh, United States National Health Association was able to predict 2 weeks faster than that association uh, uh, a big flu that was coming into the country. So they were able to predict simply by knowing what kind of information people was asking to Google. For example, if there was multiple people within a short period of time that was looking out for example, um, flu symptoms, for example. So Google was able to collect all of those data, and within an instant, were able to predict that there is going to have uh, um, a seasonal flu epidemic for a certain part of the United States, for a certain city in the United States. So this is the good part of how big data can be used. The not so good part is when those company, and this is why Cambridge Analytica, sorry, was obligated to shut down their activity because they were facing some serious law concerns. So what they did is basically they were selling those big data, those profile, to political parties around the world. They first tried it with Southern America countries, then tried a strategy with African countries, in order to rig. I will use the word intentionally use the word rig. So yeah, in order to rig election, and yeah, and send multiple publicity, multiple advertising about that fits a certain ideology, a certain ideology of a certain political party. So this is another example, and I would love to get more deeper and explain much more deeper that example, but I think I will leave that to you for today, because there's a good. There you go. Let me. Yeah. Do everyone have access? Have a Netflix account? Yeah, you do have a Netflix account. I'm not quite sure if Alexandra and Donna do have a Netflix account as well, because there's. Oh, yeah, but we all have someone that's. Yeah, yeah. I do not have either a Netflix account. This is my girlfriend's Netflix account. Oh yeah, understand exactly what you. So yeah, if you do have access to Netflix, there's a documentary on Netflix that's called "The Great Hack." Yeah, you can simply type "The Great Hack" on Google. And anyways, I put a link of preview that leads to the preview on YouTube, and I highly recommend to look for that documentary because it explained everything that led to the Trump election and how big data was used in order to rig that election. You know, United States of America used to be, well, they called themselves, uh, yeah, thank you. They called themselves, the home of liberty or whatever they want to call them. But in fact, democracy doesn't have the same meaning for everyone. Doesn't have the same meaning for every country, and liberty does not have also the same meaning for everyone. So I highly recommend you, and I wish I planned that earlier because this documentary is so important to watch because I could spend hours and hours trying to explain what happened and why how they're using those information. And simply go look for that trailer. Simply go look for that trailer, and it will, well, I think it will convince you enough to go watch the documentary. Yeah, it tells the story of it's kind of a documentary that was happening in real time. So yeah, you will see. But it tells a story about the 2016 election in the United States and how some key states in the United States um, used to switch sides uh, by strategies that were, I wouldn't use the word legal, but not so ethical. Maybe you're the one to judge those actions, but those strategies. But highly recommend. I think it's the fourth time I'm saying it, but I really want you to go watch that movie. Okay, please, The Great Hack. This is the yeah documentary that everyone should watch. It give it generates some really reflection about how democracy is evolving in that digital environment. So um, yeah, I think I will end today's class on that. Let me just